Well, you guys waited probably, if I looked at my release schedule, I'm going to say at least 10 days, maybe 2 weeks for this to finally come. But we have the Threadripper GTX 1080 Ti build block going on today. So I have stuff here, here, here. I have stuff everywhere. My wife can attest to that. She's nodding her head over there. But we're going to go ahead and do it one step at a time, since a lot of this is new territory for me. It's probably new territory for you guys, especially if you do watch my channel pretty often. So we're going to take it one step at a time. This will probably be a little bit of a longer build log, but let's roll and start building. Okay, so I already unboxed the Threadripper CPU. Now it's very important, so I'm going to try to see if I can get this. But this tells you in order to open, you have to go 3, 2, 1. So you grab the tool out of there. And of course it's your standard righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Going to assume that, okay, that one's done. It's a good idea to have something firmly back here. Now this one I'm actually going to hook up to a power supply and test it as soon as it's up and ready to roll. Because we're dealing with a full tower, we're dealing with a lot of different things right now. So, okay. So, that comes up, and I believe, yes, this was actually supposed to come up with it. Okay. Okay, so we're supposed to remove this just carefully. Make sure you don't touch any of the pins while you do this. Now, it's very important to note that this will slide in here. I've done a couple. I haven't done any of these, but I have watched enough videos on them. That piece comes off. There we go. So that is in. Okay, we're good. No pins were damaged, so we'll lay this down on both sides, just like such. Now that's down. And then my guess is you'll have to put a little bit of pressure, I mean very little pressure, just enough to hold it down. And we'll tie this until it should basically, yep, it's a hard stop. So, and you have to go in order. So, when it says 1, 2, 3, do not do 3 first after, or don't do 3 second after 1. Do it the order that tells you to. Okay. Then the last one. There we go. It's installed. That's it. It actually wasn't too bad. And didn't look like the first time I bent any pins, so hopefully the second time I didn't either. Let's go and get some RAM installed, and then we're going to do a... I'm probably actually not going to be able to do a test. We're just going to get some RAM installed and go from there. Okay, so I'll help you guys out with this one for RAM installation on this particular board. If you're doing 2 RAM slots, you do the edges. If you're doing 4, you do the edges, and then these two right here, right? So you're gonna RAM, empty, empty, RAM, empty, RAM, and then obviously you're either gonna do 2, 4, 8. Never do anything else, because that would just cause problems. You won't have the quad channel or whatever. In fact, we're not even on quad channel now, but as I try to install RAM backwards, I can't tell you, even after over 600 builds, I still do that from time to time. Heck, my wife can attest to, sometimes I install RAM, don't seat it properly, and her computer doesn't work. As I'm getting her head shake over there. Yeah. But that's general RAM installation. Not hard, but I had to consult the manual for that. So let's, here, I don't know. You guys will see what we're doing next as soon as the next frame kicks over. Fail. So I'm just going to get them just started. That way the board doesn't shift at all whenever I actually go to finish it. Good. One thing I'll give Vantex credit, they did put these in nice separating bins. Wish more companies would do that. We're going to leave that there. I'm going to set these in mostly a cross pattern of some sort. Really wish my screwdriver was a little bit more magnetized than what it is. So that doesn't happen. Got it. So this uses a standard GTX layout, which is nice. That was one of the things we didn't want to go EATX, even though we ended up finding a case he liked that did support it. Just in case we ever transplant it in the future, we don't have any compatibility issues, which is kind of the goal. So it does make life a little bit easier. Also gives us more room to work with for cable management and stuff like that. This should be the easiest cable management that I'll ever have to do in my life, hopefully. I have to go around the other side because I can't see over there. We'll screw this one all the way down. Then we'll go back across. Go there. Go there. Go there. There. And finally, we'll do the last two corners, and then center will be good. So we're going to do CPU cooler installation next. Now we got to get that power supply in there. So once I figure out how I want to do the CPU cooler, you guys will see how I do it. The one advantage with working with a full tower case is it's just easier to work with all together, for the most part. So what ended up happening was there wasn't enough clearance, because it's a thicker radiator, for the fans and the radiator near the VRMs. I actually thought there was going to be, but unfortunately I was mistaken, there's not. So we're going to do it this way. Oops, that's too far out. Just a little bit here. There we go. So I figured out what was wrong. I'd pull up on it. Not pull out, pull up. There's a difference. Trust me, there is a difference. Okay. Of course, yay. That's not going to line up lovely. Cross undo these a little bit and slide this down. Okay. Good, good, good. Let's flip this around. Nope. Let's try the corner instead. I feel like there's probably an easier way of doing this, but that one went in. That one's in. That one has resistance. So we're pretty much good to go. I'm going to get the last one and tie it down. CPU installation is actually really easy. Make sure you peel off the bottom piece of the block. We're going to take the thermal paste that is supplied here, which is through Enermax. If I can get it open. It should be fine. I don't have any Arctic silver laying around, so technically whatever they supply is supposed to be able to handle it, right? At least I would hope so. Enermax hasn't let me down yet. So this one, if I remember correctly, requires a fair bit of application. So in this case, which, try not to block this here, I believe we want to go with an X, like such. I believe that's how I read about it. We'll find out if the thermals are good. Now I already installed these guys. They just screw right in. And this part's actually easy. So we're literally going to set that down on top of the CPU. And take these top screws here. Just enough to get them started. It's very, very important on this particular CPU to make sure, I'm actually going to push this down a little more, that we do this in a really consistent cross pattern. Because the CPU die is so large that, like, it is, so when you take, like, I have a large head, right? So this is the Steven heads of CPUs, essentially. Now the peanut gallery over there holding back.
Oh, not wait on me.
So I actually did it in probably 2 or 3 phases. And it pretty much will start locking once you're down far enough. So don't try to over tighten it. You just want even pressure. Just like that. CPU block installed. Okay, so we definitely want to get the power supply in at this point. So I'm going to take a stab and say these thumb screws are going to be essential with removing the bracket down to the bottom, because that's the only way the power supply can go in, as I alluded to earlier. You guys can't see what I just did there. So there's a third one down here as well. There's 1, 2, 3. So we'll set these in the container that Fantex so generously supplied for this. We're going to go ahead and spin this bad boy around here. And okay, I see. And it comes out just like that. And let's go ahead and get our power supply installed next. Now this part's actually boring, but screwing in the power supply is a part of every build that you have to do. So I just grabbed the ones that came with the case and called it a day. I usually screw these in a cross pattern, but I usually bolt them all the way down to hold it in place. So for this build, I did plug in my connectors already. I got my 24 pin and my 2 4+4s for my CPU, and just one PCI Express because that has 2 6+2s on it. And I also have a string of SATA because I think he's going to do a hard drive, but I need that for the fan controller too. So let's go ahead and start routing these. So I should probably put my M.2 drive in, excuse me, first, but when am I going to listen? But I am going to install this card down here. That way there's not any heat circulating towards it. And this is where my most popular video comes in at. How to install a graphics card. That was a GTX 770, so we've come a fair bit. I figure, what? That was back before the 1080, or the 780 Ti was a thing. So, standard installation, nothing super crazy. Line it up. There you go, just like that. And then put the thumb screws back in. Very simple. Nothing crazy or super hard or anything like that. There we go, got it in the hole. And then we'll just route these back here. Actually, and then we won't. I'll explain why in a minute. We're going to leave these here because actually when I put in the power supply cover, we'll actually route them that way. So we'll leave them out for the time being. I need to get another set of power supply cables for SATA for him later, and we should almost be done at this point, but it'll come out right here, which will be perfect. So we got the 6+2, and then the 6 in. Okay, all we really have to do at this point is mount the M.2 SSD, which we're going to do up here, and then we're ready to try powering it up. So I lifted it up, I removed this piece, and then this actually takes a Phillips head, so I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this and move it back a little bit. So with that out, I do have to turn this a little bit so I can see, so I do apologize. I don't know. Nope, it's too heavy, I can't hold it with my screwdriver. There we go, just 2 turns is all I need. Oh, and I put it back in the wrong one. Lovely. Come on. I'm starting to regret putting this graphics card in first. I really felt like that would have been a good idea, but perfect, got it. Okay. Gotta anchor that down. Perfect. And slide in M.2 SSD. And then replace this screw that came out of it in the first place. Except not like that. The angles of doing this, trying to make sure you guys see it. I always tell you guys use a magnetized screwdriver. I think I would take my own advice. So, try to get this going. I'm literally feeling it. So, I can't tell if I'm doing it right. And I believe, yes, I was. Perfect. There we go. And we're up. So as you can see, we're up, which is a good thing. It's got a hardware monitor. CPU's good. I must have did a good job on the thermal paste. Obviously, I'm going to do some actual testing on it, but at idle, 27 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit's good. Like, it should be good. All the fans are going. Here, I'll give you guys a quick picture. Cable management of full tower is so easy. I just don't like full towers. They're just so big. But, so, this is what the BIOS looks like. Everything works. It detects both 16 gig kits. They said D2 and B2 is where it should be put in. Storage drive, nothing's in SATA. We just have something in the M.2. So, I'm going to go ahead and throw Windows on it, but we're ready to roll. So, I really appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. There were some things I skipped over because they were taking a long time, stuff I've already done. You didn't need me to do front panel connectors or plug in the fan control or anything like that. But just the general thing, the installation of the CPU, how the board went, GPU, M.2, everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know I've been teasing this video for a while. I did a lot of filming in one night. Even though you guys are getting this over the course of 10, 14 days, it all happened in one night. So definitely appreciate if you guys give me a like on this video. If you didn't like the video, I'm sorry. I mean, I put a lot of time into this. So, but like I said, you gotta leave me a comment. You can't dislike and not leave me a comment, because how do I get better? So, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to my very first Threadripper 16-core 32-thread CPU build log. Hopefully, I can bring you guys another one of these down the road. But, as always, I will see you guys later on down the road.